John Elway was drafted with the first pick in the 1983 draft after he was an unanimous All-American at Stanford. Elway was drafted by the Baltimore Colts, who he refused to play for, so he was eventually traded to the Denver Broncos, where he played 16 seasons. Throughout Elway's career, he was a 9-time Pro Bowler, 3-time second-team All-Pro, and won the MVP in 1987. Elway played in 3 Super Bowls in 1986 versus the Giants, 1987 versus the Redskins, and 1989 versus the 49ers. He lost every single one of those Super Bowls. From 1992 until 1995, the Broncos were pretty much mediocre under Elway until Terrell Davis emerged as the best back in football in 1996. From there, Elway's Broncos went on a run, winning his first Super Bowl with the Broncos in 1997. The next year, Denver repeated as Super Bowl champions, and John Elway was able to ride into the sunset with his second championship. Michael Strahan was drafted with the 40th pick in the second round of the 1993 draft after playing for HBCU Texas Southern. Strahan was drafted by the New York Giants, where he spent his entire career. Throughout Strahan's career, he would make 7 Pro Bowls, 6 All-Pros, and 1 Defensive Player of the Year in 2001, where he broke the single-season sack record and had 22.5 sacks, which is now tied with T.J. Watt. Strahan played the majority of his career on mediocre Giants teams, having made the playoffs in 7 out of his 15 seasons. His first shot at a Super Bowl was during the 2000 season, Super Bowl 35. The Giants were absolutely destroyed by the legendary 2000 Baltimore Ravens. The score was 34-7. Strahan would finally get his last shot at a Super Bowl during the 2007 season after the Giants finished the regular season 10-6 with a loss to the undefeated Patriots. After that, they went on a wild card run, winning 3 straight in order to face the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, Strahan's defensive line absolutely dominated the Patriots in a shocking 17-14 win. Strahan was able to ride into the sunset as a world champion by completing one of the biggest upsets in sports history. Peyton Manning was drafted with the first overall pick in the 1998 draft after completing his college football Hall of Fame career. Manning was drafted by the Indianapolis Colts, where he played with future Hall of Fame talents such as Marshall Faulk, Marvin Harrison, and Edgerrin James. Throughout Manning's career, he was a 14-time Pro Bowler, 7-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, and won the MVP 5 times in 2003, 2004, 2008, 2009, and 2013. He also won Offensive Player of the Year twice in 2004 and 2013. Manning played in 4 Super Bowls in 2006 versus the Bears, 2009 versus the Saints, 2013 versus the Seahawks, and 2015 versus the Panthers. He had a different coach for each of these Super Bowls, the first quarterback to take 4 different head coaches to a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning's quest to a championship started off rough. It took him 6 full seasons before he won his first playoff game. He finally broke through and won his first Super Bowl during the 2006 season when the Colts defeated the defense and special teams-led Bears in Miami. Manning's next 2 Super Bowls weren't the best outcomes. In 2009, the Colts were the best team in the NFL during the regular season, and Peyton was the MVP, but they ended up suffering a 31-17 loss to Drew Brees and the Saints. In 2011, Peyton got injured, missed the entire season, was released, and he eventually was signed with the Denver Broncos. After a great 2012 season, he would follow up with a historic season. In 2013, he won the MVP with the Broncos and set numerous NFL passing records. In the Super Bowl, they would face off with one of the greatest defenses in NFL history, the Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom. Manning didn't play his best game, and the Broncos were held to 8 points in that outing. Manning's last chance to win a Super Bowl was in 2015. The 2015 Broncos fielded a team with one of the best defenses in NFL history, but Peyton was obviously a shell of himself. To be completely honest, he was the worst quarterback in football. He was benched at one point, but he was still clutch when needed to be. He led 5 game-winning drives during the 2015 season. He capped off his Hall of Fame career by defeating the Cam Newton-led Panthers in the Super Bowl 50. After many playoff failures in his Hall of Fame career, Manning was able to ride off into the sunset as a two-time champion, the first quarterback to win a Super Bowl with two different teams. Ray Lewis was drafted with the 26th pick in the first round of the 1996 draft after playing for the Miami Hurricanes. Lewis was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, the second draft pick ever by Baltimore, where he spent his entire career. Throughout Lewis's career, he would make 13 Pro Bowls, 10 All-Pros, and won Defensive Player of the Year twice, once in 2000 and again in 2003. Ray Lewis played the majority of his career on Ravens teams with dominant defenses. During his first 4 seasons, the Ravens did not have a winning record. But during the 2000 season, Lewis and the Ravens will have arguably the greatest defense in NFL history. Because of the elite defense and running game led by Jamal Lewis, the Ravens made the playoffs and Lewis won his first Super Bowl. He will also win Super Bowl MVP. Lewis would continue to play on great defensive teams, but didn't make another Super Bowl until 12 years later. Lewis was injured for the majority of the 2012 season, but he played in every single playoff game. He led his team to a Super Bowl win in his final game as a professional. Jerome Bettis was drafted with the 10th pick in the first round of the 1993 draft after playing for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Bettis was drafted by the Los Angeles Rams, where he spent the first 3 years of his career. After the first 2 years, the Rams moved to St. Louis and hired a new coaching staff that had more of a pass-orientated offense, and Bettis had a down year because of it. He was then traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Throughout Bettis' career, he would make 6 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros, and 1 Offensive Rookie of the Year and Comeback Player of the Year. After Bettis was traded to the Steelers, he had 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons, and the Steelers would normally have regular season success but come up short in the playoffs underneath Coach Bill Cowher. Bettis thought he had his first opportunity to win a Super Bowl in 2004 when a rookie Big Ben Roethlisberger led them to a 15-1 record, but eventually lost in the AFC Championship to the New England Patriots. Bettis was expected to retire after the season, but he decided to return after realizing Super Bowl 50 was played in his hometown of Detroit, Michigan. Bettis played as a backup running back throughout the 2005 season, but he played a pivotal part in being the team's leader. The Steelers won most of their games in 2005 by playing great defense and had a great running game led by Willie Parker. Bettis was able to ride off into the sunset with a Super Bowl win in his hometown over the Seattle Seahawks. Eric Weddle was drafted with the 37th pick in the second round of the 2007 draft after playing for the Utah Utes. Weddle was drafted by the San Diego Chargers, where he spent the majority of his career. He also played for the Baltimore Ravens and the Los Angeles Rams. Throughout Weddle's career, he would make 6 Pro Bowls, 5 All-Pros, and was part of the NFL 2010's All-Decade team. Weddle played majority of his career in San Diego, where he shined as one of the NFL's best and most intelligent safeties. He eventually moved on to play on some great Baltimore Ravens defenses for 3 seasons. He eventually signed with the Rams in 2019 before he played the season and eventually retired. After the 2021 season, Weddle had been retired for 2 full seasons and was playing pickup basketball as a way to stay in shape. After injuries to the Rams safety room, defensive coordinator Raheem Morris called Weddle and asked him to come out of retirement to play in the playoffs. Weddle was surprised by this, but he took on the challenge. He not only defied the odds by playing, but he actually played very well. He led the team in tackles in the NFC Championship and made a key tackle to set up the game-winning stop in the Super Bowl. Weddle was able to hop off the couch and ride into the sunset with a Super Bowl victory.